everyone, today we'll be solving finding the absolute value of a complex number. So I've already written the example down here, but I haven't gotten to it yet. So this is what we'll be working on today, which is the absolute value of -2 plus 4i. Right here. Sorry, I'm not being... So over here is a graph that we will be using later on. Well, actually very soon. But let's take a look at -2 plus 4i. Also, I do want to mention that I am a little sick, so if I cough or anything like that happens, I apologize in advance. So here we're looking at -2 plus 4i, but we're looking for the absolute value of -2 plus 4i. And why do we have a graph? Well, we're going to actually graph this here onto here. So how are we going to do that? So I've color-coded it, so it'll look organized, and you'll see why. So -2 plus 4i, I'm going to rewrite it. Yes, I'm just going to rewrite it real quick. So -2 plus 4i, this is what it looks like, our absolute value of -2 plus 4i, but just looking at it as a complex number, you have -2 plus 4i. And how you can solve it is that this is going to be the x-axis, and this is going to be the y-axis. So as you may know, a point will look like this, xy. So we can translate this into that by just substituting it, because -2 is x and 4i is y. But since 4i is an imaginary number, we're just going to use 4. So x is -2 and y is 4. Exactly. So that is basically our destination. So in order to graph this, I'll be graphing it just normally. So I think I made -2 blue like this. So I'm going to graph -2, my bad, -2 on the graph. So we're going to start at the origin, of course. And let's go -2, so we're going to go to the left twice here. And this is -2. Now we're going to go up. You can go either way, but I'm going to do it like this just for now, and I've already started. So 4, I made it magenta, and it's +4. So we're going to go up. So let's go up 4 times on the graph. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here is the point. And let me go draw a little bit more. So I'm gonna terrible visual, but I'm sorry. Anyways, let me just draw this, and this is what it looks like. So we've pointed our point. Well, we've drawn our point, which is -2, 4 here, and correct. That is how it should look like. Yep. Oh shoot. Sorry about that. Anyways, so now finding the absolute value is kind of finding the distance from the origin to here. And let me use a different color. I'm going to use purple because that's kind of like a mix of, well, a rough mix of blue, magenta, not exactly, but so I'm going to start at the origin, and then we're going to look for the distance from here to here. That's it. Exactly. Well, here too, so like this entire line. And we can also consider this as the absolute value of -2 plus 4i, right? This vector sort of thing. And when I think of direction, distance, I think of magnitude, so it's going to be a positive value, and that's literally what it is here, which is we're looking for the absolute value. So I think of that first, because this is a distance But how are we going to look for that distance? As I've drawn these dashed lines and this little vector looking thing, but don't worry, vectors are not going to be too important for this lesson. So these dashed lines, it kind of looks like a triangle, right? Looking at it, a right triangle, to be precise, to be exact. And that's going to help us. So let's pretend I extracted this to here, so I'll have a little bit more space. And so more specifically, I am going to take this little portion right here. So this is a triangle, correct? A right triangle. And I'm just going to redraw it here, like as so. And I like to add arrows, kind of like direction, like this is going to the left, and this is going like up, and this is, you know, it's considered the resultant vector, but as I like I said, it's not going to be too important because we're just going to look for the distance. So direction and vector and all that is not too important. We're just going to look for the distance. We're going to look for the positive value of this line right here. So, as we know, x-axis, ooh, did I forget to mention that? Well, this is x-axis and y-axis, and of course our x is -2, so this is going to be -2, but since it's a triangle, it is going to be positive, but since, you'll see why. I'll explain it later. And then over here, this huge line, or the vertical line, is going to be 4. Because it's basically a y, you know, it's going up. It's this axis. Just how this is this axis, right here. And this line is this, right here. And this line, B, -2 plus 4i. The absolute value of -2 plus 4i. So let's focus on this. This is a right triangle, correct? And we don't know what the value of this is. We don't know yet. And one way we can find that is with the Pythagorean theorem, because as we can see here, this is the hypotenuse, because this is the side with the largest angle, or you know, this is the largest side. And the Pythagorean theorem looks like this. Right? And we can substitute these numbers in for a and b. Well, we can substitute the absolute value of -2 plus 4i into c squared. So let's do that. We'll move it here. So let me go rewrite a squared plus b squared equals c squared, because that's the Pythagorean theorem. And we'll need that. So we can substitute 4 and -2 into, the absolute value of -2 plus 4i into this equation right here. This is a more simple way, but I prefer this way. So you can do, and AB doesn't matter. I'll just put -2 squared plus, and you know how we're substituting it in? I'm gonna use parentheses. Equals the absolute value of -2 plus 4i squared. I'm gonna put parentheses. That looks a little weird, but trust me, it helps. So now that we have this equation, let's solve this side right here first. So -2 squared is 4, and plus 4 squared, 16, right? And then over here is -2 plus 4i, the absolute value of -2 plus 4i, our complex number, squared. So we're just going to keep squared because we don't need a square yet. Because basically we're just looking for what this equals to. so we're not going to make it too complex. And then the total of 4 plus 16 is 20. Oops, this is getting thick. I hope this doesn't. There you go. The brush is kind of thick and I was worried that it wasn't legible. Then you have -2 plus 4i squared. Correct. And the way we can isolate -2 plus 4i, kind of make it by itself. And that's one way to say it. And that's not the best way, but you can square it. So we can square this. So we can kind of isolate -2 plus 4i. It's almost like a variable. Like, we're kind of treating it like a variable because that's what we're looking for. What is the absolute value of -2 plus 4i? We are looking for what this is, essentially. So we're left with... Ooh, what the heck happened? Okay, wait. Okay, never mind. The opacity. Okay, 20 with radical 20. Okay, this is, let me rewrite this so it has more space. Radical 20 equals the absolute value of -2 plus 4i, just by itself. So that we could leave our answer like this, but I'd rather simplify it. So let's go simplify. So radical 20 has factors of 5 and 4. The 5 and 4. And 5 is just 5 and 1, so we can't go any further. But 4 has factors of 2. And since this is a pair, we can take it out. And we can keep 5 inside because this is the one that's left. So it'll look like this instead. Simplified. And we can just put radical -2 plus 4i, or the absolute value of -2 plus 4i. And this is our answer right here. Sorry for the pause. So let me go to radical 5. And when we're going back, this is our answer, basically. Hold on. This is our answer. Just clarify. This is our answer to the problem because we're looking for what the absolute value of -2 plus 4i is, and the absolute value of the complex number is 2 radical 5. So when we're going back, now we know that this can be also 2 radical 5, because it is what it's equal to. So that is our answer. Let me rewrite it so it's a little bit larger. If you can hear us, it's a bit busy at my house. But anyways, that's not important. This is our answer. Let me erase this little portion. To kind of just, actually, that's kind of weird. Okay, sorry. -2 plus 4i is just, this should be the answer. 2 radical 5 equals the absolute value of -2 plus 4i. And thank you for listening, and I hope you find this helpful in a way. Thank you.